Hello chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel, and welcome to my Basics in Chess series. So in this series we follow opening principles, middle game strategies, and the endgame strategies. Today we talk about, well, it's middle game strategies, but it's really the psychology in middle games. It's the psychology behind chess tactics that we're talking about today. And basically one of the topics that bothers us most of the times is this calculations of this chess tactics. So why was Mikhail Tal so good in chess tactics? Why was Garry Kasparov so good in chess tactics? Because first of all, they had the willingness to do these tactical moves. Okay, you can tell me now, okay, Jozarov, you have told I have the willingness to make tactics, but I haven't improved my tactical skills. I sacrifice pieces all the time, but I don't win games. Why is that happening? Well, it's all about this creating this accurate tactical moves. In order to make this accurate tactical moves, you have to calculate the tactical sequence till the end of this chess tactics, because sometimes we got scared when we're calculating tactics. We only see like 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can even calculate 6 moves ahead, but we don't see really the clear tactical picture. We don't see the tactical sequence till the end of this tactics, because we are, as I said, really scared. We are not trying to see the dynamics of the game, and that's why we stop. We don't want to do these tactics, and we try something else, maybe draw a game or lose a game, or even you can win a game, but you haven't played maybe the best move that was possible in the continuation of the game. So in this video I'm going to help you out how to calculate tactics in a better way, in a more effective way, by using this calculation till the end method. Because let's see now this first example that I wanted to show you today. It's a game played by Mikhail Tal against Uncle Saddles, and there is this clear tactics of taking the pawn here on a5, because then the rook comes to a5, and then we can play something like rook on d8 and creating a check. But the problem is black can play bishop on f8, and we are stopping to calculate because we think black is covered and we are pieced down, and basically we cannot win this game anymore because we haven't calculated this tactic till the end. But Mikhail Tal played bishop on a5 anyway, because let's see the possible continuation. Rook takes on a5, rook on d8, bishop on f8, and that's the question that we're asking ourselves. Has the tactical sequence ended here? Where does it end? Because I don't think that this tactic is over, because still we can try some tactical ideas here. First of all, we can attack the rook with the move queen on d2, like Mikhail Tal did. You see, the tactics is still going on. So as I said, most of us will calculate this tactics till the move bishop on f8, and we'll stop because we don't have this willingness to create tactics. Now after bishop on f8 and queen on d2, basically this game is over for black, because the rook is too far away, and the problem is we have attacked the rook. Of course, black has to defend it in order to make something happen here. That's why again we have a forced move, queen on c7, and Mikhail Tal played simply rook on e8, staying with this rook on the 8th rank, and you see this knight is out of game. So basically black is playing without a piece, and this starts with problems around black's king are too much to handle. So in the continuation we have a king on g7, queen on g5. So you see the tactics is still going on, although we have first of all only calculated till this move rook on d8, and basically we were scared to play this move. But not Mikhail Tal, of course. He has now a perfect attack, and as I said, basically this game is over for black. In the continuation, rook on a7 was played. We have queen on f6, you see king on g7, and now knight on g5. So you see we're still continuing the attack. This rook is out of game, this knight is out of game. So basically we have more attackers than black has defenders. So you see we have 3 pieces dancing around the black's king. Only black has only 2 pieces that are protecting his king. So in the game, king on d7 was played, and now of course rook on d8, simply continue to attack. b6, now rook takes on d7, and in this position black has a completely lost game. So that's why this tactic of Mikhail Tal to take to take the pawn on a5 was perfectly fine. So as I said, most of us would just see till this particular moment after rook on d8 and bishop on f8, and that's where our mind process stops and we think, okay, he has played the bishop on f8 and I don't have anything more. But that's not true. You should, as I said, calculate this tactics till the end of this tactical sequence. So this tactical sequence hasn't stopped after the move bishop on f8. So let's see another example. Here, it was a game by Evgeny Nair against Shakhriyar Mamedjarov. Here, Evgeny Nair played the move bishop on f6, and of course. Shakhriyar Mamedjarov played the move knight on g6, and again most of us would just retreat because we don't have anything else. We have stopped. Maybe we would consider even to move h5 like Evgeny Nair played, and maybe we have even calculated to this particular moment after g takes f6, and now okay, we have h takes g6, but again our calculation was just to this particular moment, and we think if black makes maybe the f5 move, I have to retreat with the queen and similar ideas, but not Evgeny Nair. He calculated really this tactical sequence to the end because he realized that he has really all of these pieces on the best squares. The bishop is aiming, so after this move f takes g takes f6, we have h takes g6, we have f5, and now of course g takes f7. So you see the tactical sequence hasn't stopped after we took the knight on g6. Now we have a check after king takes on f7. Now bishop takes on f5 after e takes f5. Now e6, simply attacking the king. So see, this tactical sequence goes on, and basically Shakhriyar Mamedjarov is playing only the moves that are forced by his opponent. So here king on f6, queen h5, king on g7, and now queen on f7, attacking the king, king on h8, and now you see the tactical sequence still goes on, and now rook on d7. Of course you cannot take with the rook here because you're losing your rook on e8. So in the game Shakhriyar Mamedjarov tried rook on queen on c8, and now we can take another piece. We have now regained our piece, and we're continuing the game with simply better position. After the move c5 here, queen on f6 was played, king on g8, and now knight on d5. With this pass pawn, I hope you realize white has a completely winning endgame. But that's what I'm talking about here. Here after the move h5, we think that this tactical sequence has ended here, and we're thinking maybe, okay, here black has the bishop pair, he still has the possibility maybe to play c5, and then we stop thinking. That's the most important thing. Don't stop thinking. You have to maybe find new better moves, and that's why here this attack by Evgeny Nair was really perfect. Here g takes f7 first, and you saw the continuation. Evgeny Nair won this game very, very effectively. So let's see now another game. Again we have an attack by black, g6. It's a game played by Paul Keres against Efim Geller. And basically we can calculate till this particular moment. Knight takes on g6, after h takes g6, we have bishop takes on g6, and here we have calculated till this move, till the move queen on g7, and here we stop thinking because now the queen is back, the queen is in defensive shape here, and that's why we are not playing this move knight on g6 because we haven't calculated till the end. We don't have this willingness to make tactics. But let's see the possible continuation. It's not over here, so the tactics is going on. Here rook on d3 played by Paul Keres. Now the rook can really go on g3, and we have now a perfect attack on the g file. So that's why bishop on d6, a forced move, and maybe we have calculated to do this particular moment, and again we are scared to play the next move. We were scared to find the best move. Of course, it's the move f4, again preparing the rook on g3 idea, and then some discovered attacks with the move bishop on e8 or even bishop on h7. So in the game, that's why queen on h8 was played. Now queen on g4, now bishop on c5, not a problem. King on h1, we are still attacking here. So rook on c7, and now very nice move by Paul Keres. Bishop on h7, decoying the king on the h file. Then of course we'll play rook on h3 and take the queen. So that's why king on f7, forced move. But now queen on e6, you see we have considered all of our pieces on the board. Queen on e6, we have king on g7, and now rook on g3, and in this position FM Geller resigned. So let's go back again. I'm pointing you out, we have maybe seen this move, knight takes on g6, h takes g6, bishop takes on g6, and queen on g7, and we have stopped to think here. We think that this tactical sequence is over when your opponent has played the move queen on g7, but that's not true. You see how dangerous this rook on the third rank was, and that's why this was really a great attacking brilliancy here played by Paul Keres. Let's see now another example. We have now the possibility to create an attack with the move queen on h4, and then attacking this h7 weakness, but it's a little bit too slow. If we try something like queen on h4, your opponent can try maybe h6 and kick away your bishop. Here in the game we saw maybe this tactics like knight takes on h7, like Vladimir Zyaginchev played. I'm gonna send you all of these games in the description below so you can see the whole games, but I just wanted to show you these games from this tactical point of view. We can see maybe here after king on h7, queen on h4, and now your opponent can cover knight on h6, bishop takes on h6, bishop takes, and now g5, and then after bishop on f5, here king on g8, and basically we stop to think after this moment, because it seems that black has consolidated here, that black has a perfect defense, and we don't have anything else. So, but that's not true. Again, this tactical sequence hasn't stopped here. We have now still the possibility to activate all of our pieces. So that's why rook on d8, d1 was played. If rook on d8, then knight on d4, with the preparation to take the bishop on f5, because the bishop on f5 is the defender of this g6. Of course, there is always this tactical threat to take queen on g6, because you see this bishop is aiming on the king. So if your opponent tries knight on queen takes on e5, then knight on f5, you cannot take with the queen, and you cannot also play this check on g3, and still you have problems here on the d file, and this is of course a completely winning endgame here for white. So that's why here rook on d1, as said, queen on d6, queen on e7 was played, and now rook on d6, preparing this rook takes on g6 idea maybe. Here rook on d8 was played, and now bishop on f7. You see the tactics is still going on. Here king takes on f7, and now queen on h7, king on f8, we have queen on h8, king on f7, and now rook on f6, and in this position black resigned. But that was all possible because we played here the knight on h7 move. We weren't scared. As I said, we have to have this tactical willingness. We have to calculate till the end. After king takes on h7, here you see the tactics is still going on. After bishop on f5 we can take, and now rook on d1, because still we have possibilities to attack, to activate all of our pieces, which is one of the most important principles in chess. Playing with all of your pieces on the board, using all files, all diagonals, all squares on the board, and attack and create dangerous attacks against your opponent. So let's see now another example. Here it's a game by black, here Isaac Boleslavsky, one of the greatest theoreticians in chess. Here in the game f4 was played by white, and it seems now, of course, we can take here the rook on f1 after f takes g5. We can take also this this rook on e2 and attack the queen. After queen on c3, maybe we have calculated to this particular moment, and we are not satisfied now with the position. Black has defended. We have to retreat now with the bishop, and that's why we stop to calculate. And maybe in this move we have played something passive, like queen on e7, and maybe we won the game or draw the game or even lost the game, but we haven't calculated this tactic till the end of this tactical sequence. After f4, bishop on f1, we have, as said, this particular continuation. Now the best move is simply bishop on g2. So the tactics is still going on. We have possibilities now to create very dangerous attacks with this bishop on c6 and rook on g2 ideas. So that's why you shouldn't stop to think about tactics. Here in the continuation, queen on d3 was played, and now bishop on f3. We have here rook on f1, and now rook on g2. We have king on h1, but now bishop on c6. We see after trades of rooks, king on f8. We have queen on f1, but now rook on f2, and in this position it's game over. So in the game you can try maybe king on g1, but we'll take the queen, and we're continuing the game with one piece up. This pawns can be taken, and of course it's a completely winning endgame here for black. So as said, these are the main psychological elements of tactics. You have to first of all have this willingness, calculation till the end. So the chess tactics hasn't stopped till this particular moment where till where have you seen it. It's still going on. We still have some possibilities to attack and maybe regroup your pieces, getting all of our pieces in the attack, and really force your opponent to resign or even checkmate your opponent. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll continue my basics in chess series. You can follow these previous videos that I've already created in the series, and you can also watch my chess tactics and chess puzzle videos in which I show you all of the possible tactical motifs that can happen in the chess game. And you can also watch my videos how to spot chess tactics, in which I show you better way how to recognize tactical possibilities. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thanks you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.